New South Wales apartment towers with significant risk. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here, and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Now I wanted to talk about this article that's appeared on news.com, and thank you to one of my viewers for sharing it with me. 3 more New South Wales apartment towers have significant issues according to the Building Commissioner. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, this is Australia. You know, most of you should know Australia since it's I'm an Australian channel. But if we zoom in here, you can see all the pins where I've started just noting all of the different apartment towers that we've had issues. And here we have around Sydney what I call the triangular fail, from the Zetland Apartments, Sugar Cube, to Mascot, all in this area here. Now historically this part of Sydney here was industrial land, and it's all contaminated, and the water table is leaching down to the bay, down at Botany Bay here. But we are getting more and more issues in apartments in New South Wales and throughout all of Australia, pretty much in every state. Now, one argument I have as to why this has occurred is due to, and I'll just bring this over here, due to the tremendous boom in construction that occurred between 2013 to 2017, particularly that huge spike you see in the chart, which is foreign investment in apartments. And I will bring up a quote, one of the favorite ones, good old Matt Berry, that I like using, referring to 2016, 67% of Australia's GDP growth came from Sydney and Melbourne. Now of that, a quarter, 25%, 24% of the entire country's growth in GDP for that year was from Sydney CBD to Macquarie Park in an apartment frenzy. I recommend you all read his article on Australia Built on a House of Cards, but this is just more evidence of the overheating in this apartment sector. Now I've discussed a lot of these issues, and I have on my website here on Says.Heiser the construction map where I've started recording different issues, and I'm going to update it hopefully this Friday with a live stream where I'll be adding all the additional videos, buildings, and linking to videos that I've done on the topics. Here right now I've mapped just all the cladding fire risk assessments in New South Wales and Sydney that was leaked to the public. Because, we can't have the plebs knowing if their building's at risk. Honestly, most of the buildings would probably be fine. It may just be a little bit of cladding at one part of the building that can be managed, but people still need to be made aware. I contend there's 2 risks. They claim to withhold it to, protect people from terrorists or criminals, arsonists. I would argue that the more significant risk is from a guest staying at an apartment, smoking a cigarette and falling asleep and not realizing, because the people living there didn't tell them. What do you think's more likely in Australia? So guys, let's have a look. 3 more New South Wales apartment towers have significant issues according to the Building Commissioner. The Building Commissioner has warned that 3 additional New South Wales apartment towers have major issues, warning buyers to beware. Oh boy. The New South Wales Building Commissioner has warned property owners to adopt a buyer beware approach to inspecting and purchasing homes after advising that 3 more apartment towers have serious issues. David Chandler, who was selected by the Burgess government 3 months ago to tackle issues of accountability in the construction industry in New South Wales, made the comments in the wake of new discoveries of more failing apartment buildings in the state, according to the Daily Telegraph. Mr. Chandler said, another building with 200 apartments had been identified as having significant issues and was incomplete despite receiving certification to be occupied by residents. See, this is the issue. This is what people have told me from Sydney. And what you can do is, and we've used these certificates before, you can get a partial certification or I can't remember the exact term. It's essentially you get a certification conditional, so you can occupy the premises to ensure you need to rectify particular things. We'd often do it with the retail stuff, with the Lorna Jane fit outs in New South Wales, because they need to get in by a certain time, and there may be 1 or 2 little things that need to be addressed. Maybe some emergency lighting needs to be wired up, or some one other little minor issue that means it's not 100% certifiable, but it's enough to the point where they can occupy it and they can rectify the issue. Now, the certifier needs to go back there and check to make sure it's rectified. Does that always happen? Is there a time frame on these certificates? You let me know. So this is the problem, though. But a little tiny shop is very different to 200 apartments, isn't it? And there were other buildings that we've discussed in previous videos where they've been occupied for 10 years with these type of certificates, and the issue was serious fire safety issues. So he said there were at least 2 more buildings in the state that had been identified as having similar problems. The industry entered into a crisis following the emergency evacuation of Mascot Towers in June, an event which followed the emergency evacuation of residents of the Opal Tower on Christmas Eve, both due to rapid and dangerous deterioration of structures. And she hasn't mentioned anything about Sugar Cube. I wonder if that's coming out in the news. You know, the Sugar Cube or Zetland Towers as well. I mean, the Otto Roseberry, the Joshua apartment buildings. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'll do a live stream on Friday. We'll update the map. It's tax time. You got to cut me some slack. Here's Mascot Towers. Sign my change.org petition. Set up a royal commission into the building industry. Well, I wouldn't go with change.org. I'd go with a more reputable, maybe just get a petition in Parliament. But good on you. You know, maybe we need a royal commission into the industry. I argue that the issue is with the procurement, design and construct, where the builders are engaged to provide a full design service, full certification service, hand over the project. So the traditional police of the industry, architects and the certifiers, are directly employed for the builders. So if you kick a fuss, what do you think happens? So Mr. Chandler said the responsibility to identify buildings with these type of issues, where the building had received certification but structural problems arose, fell back to prospective owners. He suggested the owners could spend more time seeking out issues before they purchased a home. Okay, Mr. Chandler, that's good advice, but if you get an inspection done of a property, there's so many clauses in those bloody things. I mean, what would you do? What would you do? If I had to buy an apartment, I'd want to see all the drawings. I'd want to get a personal guarantee from the developer putting up his own house. I'd want to get x-rays done of slabs. I want to get the minutes of all of the meetings. I'd want to interview previous occupants. I'd inspect the car park. I don't think... Well, I mean, if I had to. That's just off the top of my head. Some of the things I'd think about. I mean, x-raying a slab, sure. It probably won't cost that much. $500 to hire it. You know, maybe $1,000. Could be priceless. Could be worth it. When you're looking at a purchase like this. Put it onto the owner. Put it onto the... if you're buying it, put it on the person you're buying. I want x-rays of the slabs. Or get, buying new builds, tell the developer I want x-rays of each floor. So, he said owners should go and spend a little more time having a look at their apartment before they settle. Mr. Chandler said 60 to 70% of developers were producing a high-quality product. He suggested people buy off the plan could do a little bit of research to work out who might be risky and who will be less risky to increase confidence in the market. I wouldn't even buy off the plan. In a million years, why would you do that these days? It's crazy. Mr. Chandler made the comments last night during a state parliamentary estimates hearing. A petition started by one of the residents of Mascot Towers, Andrew Burrell, calling for a royal commission into the building industry, has now gathered more than 27,000 signatures. His petition has called for the overhaul the way buildings we call our homes are designed, approved, built, certified, occupation, saying recent issues come to light were the tip of the iceberg. They contacted him regarding the comments but did not receive a response. Well, guys, there you go. More buildings. They didn't mention them, did they? Did they? If you know of them, let me know. And we'll talk. I'll try and see if we can. If I find out, I'll update the construction map with it on a live stream on Friday. And if you have never watched a YouTube live stream, come along, guys. You can chat in the comments and we can have a discussion about different things. And it's generally fun. People enjoy it. Well, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. If you like the content I'm producing and want to help me make more, I have a Patreon and a Subscribestar, and I really appreciate all the support there. I also have affiliate links from Amazon and eBay, where if you make a small purchase, I get a kickback. Fantastic. It's almost like I'm a real estate agent spruiking for dodgy apartments, but you get a better warranty. Take care, guys. Talk to you later.